Hi, my name is De'Aaron, and I have tested positive for COVID. God, that sounded like I am at an AA meeting. So sometime, well, not sometime, last week, I found out that I was positive for COVID. Before I get into all that, there is one symptom that I want to address, and that is lack of appetite. I did have a lack of appetite, but it wasn't because of COVID necessarily. It was because I, for the greater part of November and December, was suffering from depression and stress. And then Christmas is when I had my anxiety attack, and it was just a really, really hard time for me because of all those components. And I wrecked a lot of relationships I had because of all of that. And I mean, I'm grateful that some of those were able to be restored, but there are some that are in a question mark. And it's important, but it's not important. Um, anyway, so lack of appetite wasn't necessarily um, a symptom. And I'm gonna apologize now because I just realized I kind of just rambled a little bit. I tend to ramble, so I hope that I don't do that often because I really don't want to sit in front of this camera all day. Also, my window's open, so if you hear random noises or you can't hear me over a sound, it's because the window's open and I'm trying to get fresh air in here. So my symptoms for COVID started off like a lot of people's do, cold and flu symptoms. And I thought that I was just congested because living here in the South, weather changes so much, hot and cold, rainy, sunny. It's, you just don't know. So I thought I was congested, so I took some Mucinex and it went away. I was coughing up mucus, but it was clear, so I didn't really think much of it. And so New Year's Day comes, or New Year's Eve, I'm sorry. Same thing, no problem. New Year's Day, same thing, although this time mucus is a little yellow, but again, don't think much of it. So Saturday comes, the second, and I wake up with some mild chest pain with the congestion. So I take some Mucinex, and when I'm hacking up the mucus this time, though, the mucus is like a dark yellow or brown, and there's some red in it. So right then, combined with the chest pain, I knew something was really wrong here. So I go to doctor's care, and they asked me if I ever taken a COVID test before. I say no. So they say, okay, we'll give you a COVID test, and to also check you for pneumonia. So they're out of Rapids, so they give me a regular test that tells me that they'll wait 5 to 10 days before I can get the results. So they also draw blood, which is a primary reason why I don't like going to hospitals and doctors' cares because I'm not needle friendly. So they do all that. They test me for pneumonia. Pneumonia comes back negative, and but without my test for COVID, they can't really tell me what really I can do. So they just tell me to keep doing what I'm doing and just to go home. So I go home, take the Tylenol for the chest pain, and tell my mom what's up, and she just recommends that I drink some tea, try to lay down, and go from there. So I do all that, but the chest pain isn't going away. If anything, it's starting to intensify, and now it's starting to hurt for me to cough. So you kind of just know your body. So I said, okay, I'm gonna go to the emergency room. So my dad takes me to the emergency room, and on the way, breath is starting to become a bit labored. So now I'm internally freaking out because it's all these symptoms that of COVID, and you're like, damn, damn. So gets there, and because I'm an adult, he can't stay with me, so he has to go sit outside in his car and wait. In the meantime, chest pain is there, shortness of breath, still coughing, and that crap hurts. And you would think with all that, they would have saw me like that. No. Um, it took a minute, and to the point where my dad had asked, had they seen you yet? And I said no. So he came back and he sat with me, and by that point, like everything just hurts. Like, I'm starting to get shivers, which is turning into like a mild chill. And I'm having all this pain with my chest still, coughing, breathing, and I'm just trying to keep it together, and it's just slowly falling apart. So I finally get called to the back. They take my temperature, do the random questions or not random, but standard questions that they do. They give me EKG. And then basically after all that, they tell me that they're going to get a room ready for me. And at that point, any composure, chill, cool could have the strength to have, start to break apart. And primarily because of hearing we're going to get a room ready for you. And I'm just like, I've never been a inpatient at a hospital. So at that point, combined with everything that I was feeling, I was just in shambles. So when I was able to get to this waiting area where, my dad could sit with me finally, I broke. It was ugly, like a whole ugly cry, snot, and all that. And that hurt too, which, didn't really help my condition, but I couldn't help myself. You just go through all this stuff and you low key say, I thought I had more time, even though, I still hadn't taken a COVID test with them yet. You just kind of know. And I'm not trying to be a drama queen about it, because I know some people probably like, but, everybody responds differently to stuff. And, I'm not really like an emotional dude, but, that just took me. So I'm starting to get cold more, and I ask I get a blanket, so they give me a blanket, and eventually I get to the exam room, and then it's like they left me there. Like, I got there, and then I kind of got left there. So I get on the phone with my sister, who is a nursing student, and I'm trying to talk to her as best as I can between breath, pain, teeth chattering because I'm cold and everything. So I try to get one of the nurses to help me because I kept seeing nurses walk past the door, but no one would come in the room. So I go out in the hallway, and all the nurses are looking at me like deers in the headlight, like, I don't know, like, I don't know what to do for you. So I go back into my room basically because the phone disconnected, and I was just alone. I was tired, scared, everything in between, curled up in a ball, and just kind of just laid there. So in between that time, my sister called my dad and basically told her what was up with me. And finally, a doctor came in and asked me what was up. I told him what my problem was. He said, okay, we'll give you a COVID test and probably put you on an IV. So that's when I realized in my head I'm dehydrated because I hadn't really drank anything all day. So nurse comes in, gives me the COVID test, draws blood, and puts me on the IV. I asked for some water, but they said we're putting you on an IV, so we can't give you no water. Whatever. So by that point, before then I had sent out a message. I wrote a doctor's care to people who had really made a positive impact on my life, whether I had known them for a while or not. And, because I didn't want, if this was the moment, I didn't want anyone to not know who I cared about, to not know that I didn't care about them or that I do care about them and how they positively impacted my life. It was a standard message everyone got, because you just don't have time to write personalized messages sometimes. So everyone received that. And I just said, okay, I'll close my eyes and it'll be what it be. So nurse comes back, and he was a bit testy sometimes, which I understand because of the whole circumstance. Sorry, I just saw my own face. So he was a bit testy sometimes, but I try to be understanding because this is a new thing for all hospital workers. So you don't try to be like match the attitude you're getting. That and I was too tired, so he had that one, but he was nice every now and then. I don't know, whatever. So he comes back and he tells me that the blood was either curdled or clotted. Can't remember what word he used. So he takes blood again, this time out of my hand. Everyone says that hurts. I was so out of it, I don't even recall having pain. So he takes it, asks me to do anything. I say water and another blanket. He gives me those things, leaves me alone. I go back to sleep. Doctor comes in, tells me basically what I already knew. You have COVID. Explains the circumstances of quarantining, and then says I can go home. So I go home after they discharge me, and my folks tell me, I think they gave me some tea that night. I think I can't remember, and told me I had to sleep upright. So that was pretty much all I've been doing. I've been sleeping upright ever since I came home, which has been a chore for sure. So I've been hydrating with teas, water, soups, smoothies, pretty much since I've been home. I haven't really ate too much. I kind of have and I kind of haven't. It really just depends on the day. And that's something I'm kind of learning about myself as the days go on. Because some days I'll feel like super great and I can feel like normal and I could do like a million things. And then another day I'll feel really meh and not really want to get out of bed or really do anything. Fatigue is a consistent with me. The chest pain is gone. I'm no longer coughing up mucus per se. I mean, not as heavy as I was when it first got started. But I still have a cough. It doesn't hurt. But still coughing, still hacking up mucus upon occasion. But the mucus is a little clearer now. So I think whatever was in my system around that time frame is kind of dissipated, but I know it's still here. I got a call from DHEC sometime in the middle of the week. Basically, they just want to know the background of everything and told me when I could come out of quarantine, which is this Sunday, and that I don't have to take another test if I don't want to. I'll have an immunity. They basically say you'll have an immunity, and that for 90 days or something like that, and that if I come into contact with someone else who has COVID, I shouldn't get it. But considering most people do end up getting COVID or have gotten COVID again, I guess I should say, I don't know, question mark. So that's basically been my week experience. It's been up and down again. I wouldn't wish that pain that I went through on Saturday on anyone, no matter how much I dislike you or, can't stand you. I would never wish that on anybody. Like, that pain, I've never felt anything like that in my life before. And I hope everyone's staying safe. Like, take this stuff seriously. I know a lot of people still don't, and that's proof positive with those clowns who are out there at the Capitol. That's another story for another day. Take this stuff seriously. Even though I was going to the gym, I always did everything right. Wore a mask, kept my distance, wiped down stuff before and after. I don't necessarily know for sure how I got it. I mean, I was in a lot of different circumstances around that time frame, so it's hard to say which one could be it. In a way, I guess it really doesn't matter. I mean, it matters, but it doesn't matter because I got it and now I've had to deal with it. For anyone who has had it, there's a greater sympathy now because you understand it because you've gone through it, and I pray for those of you who haven't. It's not severe, or you're not in that kind of pain, or you don't have to experience that kind of pain that I did. it's it's just a day by day. You never really know for sure how you're going to feel each day, if you're going to be able to eat, if you're not, if you're going to be tired or just tired or just but that's really been my experience this past week. I've been out of work. Well, not out of work, but on I've had to take some leave time to deal with all this. My job was nice enough to send me a plant, which is somewhere over there. And I've had friends and family check up on me from time to time. It does get a little lonely sometimes. And I've really only had like a few conversations in between, but it is what it is. I'm just more or less grateful to still be here because there are so many people who aren't. And there are so many people that don't leave the hospital, they're still there. So I understand how I'm lucky to have gotten this far, and I thank God and for all the prayers that people sent me, because it's scary, for you when you have it. I mean, not saying I'm in fear and I'm gonna just be a recluse, but it is something that makes you put your life in perspective a bit, and yeah. So I guess I'm gonna leave it here. Maybe I'll do a weekly update a week from now. I don't know. It depends on how I feel. But I just felt guided to do this. And again, I'm not the sit in front of the camera and just talk kind of person. But I just felt guided to make this video. So if you watch this, thank you. If you left it sometime in between, thanks for watching part of it anyway. I hope everyone out there stays safe, take this seriously, wash your hands, wear a mask, just all that, My quarantine will be over, I don't know if I said this or not, my quarantine will be over on the 10th, this Sunday, and I'm going to get tested again just to make sure that I'm negative or positive or whatever. I'm hopeful that it'll be negative this time. But still, they told me I didn't have to, but I'm going to anyway. But again, everyone stay safe, stay healthy, stay hydrated, all that stuff. This isn't going away anytime soon. For those of you who aren't taking it as seriously or not at all, take this seriously. It's real, and people got to stop acting like it's not. Like, this is a legit pandemic. It's an issue. People are dying. People are dying, Cam. But just take it seriously. Do the right stuff. Wash your hands. It shouldn't have taken a pandemic for some of y'all to wash your hands. But then again, some people don't wash their legs. But that's another subject for another day. But yeah, thanks for watching. And maybe in about a week I'll do an update just to let y'all know where things have gone from there. But till then, take care.